a new strip which was christened last night in great style by the under-21 side, who beat France 6-1. England attacking the goal to the left, and here's Sammy Lee trying to get on the end. And in fact, the first touch for Joël Batz, the goalkeeper from Auxerre. It's Amoros. Since the World Cup, France have played 10 matches, of which they've won 4 and drawn 4. This is their 4th match of this season, and they've yet to record a win. First run by Walsh comes to an end, and here is Tigana, who came on as a substitute against England in Bilbao in the World Cup, a match in which Brian Robson scored in 27 seconds. Here's Graham Roberts, whose 2 caps were against Scotland and Northern Ireland last spring. Steve Williams has 1 full match against Australia and 1 substitute appearance. Kenny Sansa well forward. Bossis, the big number 5. One wonders a little bit about the aerial power of England. Roberts across. And the French only have 1 player forward then, Touré. French themselves finding it difficult to find goal-scoring power. Indeed, their front line this evening has Bellon of Monaco, who is usually a wide player, and Touré of Nantes, who normally plays for them in midfield. Here's Platini, Battiston, Terry Butcher. It's a little bit wayward, and Shilton had to hurry and did not make it. It seemed a totally unnecessary back pass. And here's little Alain Giresse, 5'5".
And it's coming to him, came in fact further back to Touré. That's a useful cross, and Shilton had to do well to deny Touré. Really good save by Peter Shilton. It was a good curling cross going away from the goalkeeper. Shilton didn't come for it and watched the bounce carefully and palmed away for a second corner to be taken by Giresse. Variation. Tigana. So really that pressure from France is a direct result of a quite extraordinary and unnecessary back pass. Kenny Sanson starting again for England. Butcher. Quite a test in a different way for the 2 in the centre of the England defence, because they will not have a man to mark. It's Touré, already coming deep for the ball, as is his usual style. Bossis used to be a left back, and now has taken over from Marius Trésor as the man at the back, the sweeper or the libero, spare defender, call him what you will. Amoros. Few whistles from the French crowd. Joël Batz winning his 4th cap this evening. All the matches this season. Touré the furthest forward. Bellon and Mike Duxbury. Duxbury wants it back, it isn't going to get it. Roberts. England team drawn from 7 clubs. And number 7 on the ball here, Brian Robson coming from deep. A little bit lucky to get it back perhaps. Hoddle. Lee. Duxbury offering width on the right. Steen waiting in the middle. It's good play by Walsh if he can get it across, but he couldn't. Does love to take and turn a man, Paul Walsh. Getting his first cap at the age of 21. Patrick Battiston, Alain Giresse. Free kick given. The referee tonight comes from Belgium, Marcel van Langenhove. Refereed England's match against Norway in the World Cup qualifier, which we won 4-0. Platini. Steve Williams. Quite prepared to hold the ball in spite of the presence of Tigana. Steen. Hoddle, who's being pushed well forward behind the front two. Here's Walsh. Made a confident start, it seems to me. Robson. That's a good try. Brian Robson with something of the anchor role, but encouraged by Bobby Robson to come forward whenever he can. And we've seen that already. It's a good play by Paul Walsh. Today. Too much room for manoeuvre. Here's Walsh again. It's good to see him prepared to take on people. Not the best of shots from Kenny Sampson. Again, the whistles in the crowd. This stadium holds 50,000. There are a few empty seats, particularly behind the goal to the right, which is where most of the England supporters are. Here's Leroux. Tigana. Williams covering. Butcher. Robson at the moment finding himself with something of a free role in front of the back two. Plenty of room to go forward. Hoddle straight to Platini. Williams pulled by the French captain, but the free kick goes against Williams. I'm not sure whether the referee wants words or not. I'm telling Williams to cool it a bit. Bossis, Battiston. Walsh. Fernandez gets back. Good play by Roberts, needed to win that, otherwise Platini was clear. Roberts. Patrick Battiston. Now with Bordeaux, used to be with Saint-Etienne. Played against England in Bilbao. And the position he's occupying now at right back. First time we've seen Bossis go forward. Tigana. Platini. Giresse. Walsh. Steen. Only those two forward with Sammy Lee just clearing the centre circle. Now Walsh. Or will he run Bossis? He tried to. Frenchman gets a lot of applause. Referee plays the advantage. In very dramatic style. Giresse. Touré pulled wide, Platini in the middle. Put in by Sanson. Now Williams. Tucked in well, Williams at the start, and that is Probably his major role, letting Robson go forward more, with Hoddle already forward. Platini, good foot in by Butcher, and here is Hoddle. Walsh. Didn't work, but even so, good to see Hoddle going forward like that. Fernandez plays for Paris Saint-Germain, the number 7. They play their football here. Just over 10 minutes gone. No score. It's the 12th meeting between these two countries in Paris. And England have won 8 and France 3 of the previous 11. That's a useful ball from Platini. Roberts across, and Belloni had to be hit first time. And the first telling ball of the match, provided by Platini. And with his wrong foot, really, Belloni, give him his correct pronunciation, struck it well, but too high. Indication there of the star of the French. Suddenly one ball from Platini, causing England a certain amount of difficulty. Brunstein hasn't settled into the match yet. In marked contrast with his club colleague. Duxbury. Lee. Free kick given and quickly taken. Behind the referee's back. Platini. Gires to the right. Sanson faces him. Touré. Steen. Walsh. Followed then by Amoros. Here's Duxbury. Good play by Belloni. Walsh, eager to receive the ball, keen to take people on. Bossis. Butcher. And every England player other than Chilton in the French half. Steve Williams. Looking for the gap, found it well. Good strong challenge again by Bossis, but he's having to play with that quality. Hoddle couldn't hold it. And with now 13 minutes gone, first word on the match from Bob Wilson.
Well, a couple of interesting moments for Peter Shilton, but I think the most encouraging thing is the comfort the England players have had on the ball. Steve Williams on the ball, superb. Paul Walsh taking people on. England are playing this diamond shape in midfield with Robson the anchor at the back, Hoddle up the front behind Steen and Walsh. Lee and Williams provided the width on the right and left respectively. But terrific comfort and composure on the ball from the England players. Lovely to see.
Roberts. Sanson. Steen. Possibly his best touch yet. Hoddle. Steen. Waited to win the corner without having to play the ball in any way. Corner conceded by Battiston. Hoddle will take most of the set pieces, certainly the free kicks and the corners on this side. Butcher is up on the near post for the flick on. Roberts was forward as well. Hoddle, lovely ball off the outside of the boot. Big Bossis across. Gires. Diagonal ball to the far side would cause England a few problems, but they've taken the short side instead, and the pace of Roberts equal to that. Touré, Gires, about the same size as Kenny Sanson. Touré, Fernandez from Tigana. Lee forcing the turn. And the error comes from Fernandez. Robson. Steen down the middle, Walsh in the inside left position. Sanson going forward on the left. Butcher. Steen has now come out to the left and calling for it. Sanson. Every Frenchman behind the ball. Sanson. Not a good challenge by Touré. Walsh. Time he lost out to Leroux. He'll get a free kick for that for sure. Defender was Touré. Huddle comes across. The two men from the middle of the back go forward. Butcher taking the wider position on the far side. Played in for Steen. No one to touch it back to, which is a bit surprising. England short of numbers at the back for the first time. Bellone making a break on the left side. Williams now finding himself in his more accustomed position with Southampton, covering on the right side. Difference in pace of this attack from the French. Gires. But it was Robson really who brought it to an end. Lee found him again. Steen. 17 minutes gone. No score. Great deal of promise from this new England side. Williams. A lot of variation of movement. And Butcher had got up at the back. Feels for the corner granted. Steen who challenged for it. And Leroux who went down underneath him. Interesting the speed with which Butcher got forward then. May just see him coming to the right now. You see he's unmarked. The Steen challenge for the ball. Once again Butcher near post. And Tigana covering. Hoddle hasn't found the arc yet. Jean Tigana, born in Mali, but left there at the age of 3. Battiston. Gires. Too far for Platini. Robson. 3 forward of him. Now Lee makes it 4. They're looking for the gap. It's Walsh trying to get on the end. Leroux across. Up comes Duxbury. And that's a free kick. Leroux finding the ball a little bit too far away, really, to make a true challenge. Felt that he couldn't let Duxbury go. Walsh. Another free kick. And they're finding Paul Walsh of Luton Town fairly lively, are the Frenchmen. Certainly I would think that Bobby Robson must feel already that the youngster has got the big match temperament. Hoddle takes the free kick. Out by Fernandez. Offside. It's a tight one. Brian Steen, the player caught. Amoros of Monaco, one of 3 players from that club. Bossis plays for Nantes. Battiston. square, but offside against Boulogne. Wrench in the crowd, but whatever he had done with the ball wouldn't have mattered because the flag was up, the whistle had gone. Roberts. Steen being watched by the Roux. And Tigana is going stride for stride with Walsh. His control then let him down. Platini. Boulogne. Steen. One quick look up, and his onside is Battiston. Shilton to meet. Somebody covering now, and Shilton did enough, and Battiston wasted a golden opportunity. But that really was a marvellous ball by Platini, and a classic for youngsters. He took that split second to look up and put the right back absolutely clear. Shilton stood up in front of him, waited for the player to make his move, saying, "You've got to beat me," and he palpably failed to do so. Good goalkeeping by Peter Shilton.
Yes, it was superb goalkeeping by Peter there, because he just waited his time, he didn't commit himself, and by the time Battiston had made a little bit of room, there was a covering defender as well, but he'd been forced wide by the goalkeeper.
Robson. The two best French attacks have both been inspired by the European Footballer of the Year. Duxbury of Manchester United, Lee of Liverpool. Amoros, the schoolboy error there, surely. And Fernandez, prepared to work his way out and does so cleanly. Tigana. Bossis. Battiston's gone forward again. Tigana, Platini, Gires, and Boulogne is offside. Verdict by no means greeted with universal approval. It's the first long ball I think we've seen from Huddle. Tigana. Touré. Doesn't look a front player. Tigana. Sanson. Robson. Nicely down the line. Steen. Lee just inside. Fernandez with the challenge. And a chance for Kenny Sanson to try a long throw. Butcher has gone forward to the near edge of the 6-yard area. Underneath it now. Gires on the counter. He actually took his eye off the ball for a second, otherwise he could have got the interception in. It's Boulogne. Touré forward. Oh, that's just a hopeful prod into the middle. Williams. Platini quite unconcerned. Fernandez. Platini. Lee came from behind. Battiston forward again. Great appeals from the crowd as Battiston goes down. Shilton quite unimpressed. Batistone, you may remember, the player who was so disgracefully fouled by Schumacher, the West German goalkeeper, in the semi-final of the World Cup. And he was out with facial and spine injuries and has really made a remarkable recovery. But there's no question he made an awful lot of that over Peter Shilton. Williams for England. Has a ring that he would be pleased about, I think. And the referee has given a free kick and is pointing to Steen. 26 minutes gone, no score. England have had more of the possession, but the alarms have come at Peter Shilton's end, I think it's fair to say.
Yes, the alarms have definitely come around Peter's goal there. There's a bit of indecision, in fact, on that last one. But the great thing still about England, they're composed on the ball and they're competitive when they're having to win it back. And really, from the point of view of the actual overall game, they're looking equally as good as the French technically.
Batistone. Platini. We've seen more of Platini than we have of Glenn Hoddle at the moment. Here is Hoddle. Duxbury. Robson. Walsh. Really, it's good to see him try to take people on. Hasn't really made what could be described as a devastating run yet, but in question of confidence, it's a promising beginning. Platini. That's one to show Hoddle. Hoddle style. Milan taking on Duxbury. It's the first time the fullback has been tested by the winger. I think it's a throw. Clearance really was not a good one. But I still think it's a throw. Milan doesn't, but the referee agrees with me. Butcher. Hoddle. Gires. England ball. Duxbury. Roberts. With a good 20 yards to move into, just crossed the 22-metre line, which is clearly visible from the rugby field. Fine ball by Robson to Lee. Walsh, let it go. Worked nicely with Williams. Fernandez broke it up. And a rather silly foul by Steve Williams. Referee's allowed play to continue, but he had a word with the Southampton skipper. Natigana. He did his run well. Touré. Change of pace by the French can be quite marked when they suddenly feel that there might be a gap created. He hasn't been given the advantage of free kicks around the England box yet. We'll certainly be very conscious of not giving him such opportunities. This one a full 30 yards out. And Platini has gone forward, leaving the ball at the moment to Gires. French with 4 players up on the 18-yard line. Platini comes away. Here's Fernandez. Ball was a bit too far to his left. Belogne. Roberts. Well, it's a ball clearance by Roberts. Fernandez. Strong challenge and a good one by Brian Robson. England captain rescuing the situation right on the half-hour point. Fernandez stays down. There was nothing wrong with the challenge. In fact, it was a very good one. Original nod down from Platini, going just too far to the left of Fernandez, which is as well from England's point of view. The original error by Roberts. Peter Shilton, as is his wont. This is time to say a few words. Good leader from the back, as good goalkeepers should be. Against him and taken quickly. Here's Platini, and still beat two men then. Bellone on the correct foot for him. Good save. Blocked by Sanson, the follow-up from Gires. That brought the Frenchmen to their feet. Good attack. Look at this one on the full. Didn't quite get it right. Shilton forced the parry away. It was little Alain Gires who came in. Kenny Sanson, number 3 here, who came across to cover. The number of French chances is increasing. Bellone involved in 3 of them. And the French get a corner. Going across to take it. Plays for Bordeaux, winning his 26th cap tonight. Scored 2 goals against Northern Ireland in the second phase of the World Cup, and indeed the goal which gave France a 3-1 lead over West Germany in the semi-final. Leroux has come forward. Butcher got there first. Walsh. Huddle. Mike Duxbury. England formation has Steen the furthest forward, now moving out to the left. Ball with Sansom. Huddle is now in the inside left position. This is Williams. Got 4 up front because Lee makes an extra man. But no width on the right, which Sansom may well have liked at this stage. Duxbury a little reluctant to move forward. Comes back to Robson. Huddle. Good play. Walsh in the middle on the penalty spot. Williams coming in. Continental style of goalkeeping. The punch from maybe a catch was possible. Williams with the turn. Casual from Platini. Amoros also. Look again at Williams' effort, which really didn't test bats too much. Roberts. Walsh. Bossi's trying to push him wide. Fernandez. Tigana. Gires. Not sure what people want to see. Butcher challenging there. Free kick given. Butcher back with Touré, who held the ball in his hands for a moment. 10 minutes, a little less, of the first half remaining. 0-0 the score. Duxbury. Steen. Lee. Walsh. Gires. One or two scuffles in the crowd behind Peter Shilton's goal. It's amazing how they can't find the football itself entertaining enough. Lee. That suggests that they haven't come with that intent. Duxbury. Robson. So the game is finely balanced, but I would hope to see a few more England chances made. So we're certainly lacking in that department on the balance of play so far. Touré and Bellon forward for bats. Duxbury. Butcher. Steen. Losing out to Leroux. Battiston. Hold of the ball has to cross the line. Got away with two because Hoddle really should have had him. And Butcher fouls Touré. He was half past him when the challenge was made. Touré suggesting the problem is the left knee. It's his third cap this evening. Scored in his debut against Yugoslavia last April. And Michel Hidalgo, the manager, hoping that he might solve a problem up front, which the French have had all season. Lost 3-1 in Denmark. Held by Spain at home and 0-0 away in Zagreb against Yugoslavia. Been the results this season.
I think for all the equal part of play in the midfield there, obviously the best chances have fallen to the French. What worries me about England at the moment is the fact that Brian Steen's playing very much as a team man, making runs, waiting for passes into space and so on. Paul Walsh is very much to feet and very much the individual, and there have been 2 or 3 occasions when Glenn Hoddle's been alongside him and in fact he's kept hold of the ball rather than releasing it.
Touré back on his feet. Gires to take the free kick. Bossis has gone forward. Battiston. Amoros. England coming out, but not all together. Platini. Good challenge by Robson again. Crowd didn't like it because Platini went down. Some real grit from Brian Robson. Certainly Platini felt it. It's the second time, if my memory serves me right. I don't think there have been more than 2 that Robson has made a very important tackle just outside the England box. Corner saved by Bossis. At the other end, I'm sorry to have to report that the police are in the crowd. There's not too much movement. Their presence seems to have quietened things. Roberts, who volunteered in training yesterday to take long throws on the right side. Haven't really quite made Butcher either from corners or throws yet, though. Lee. Williams. Walsh has pulled wide to the left. But I'm not sure who's offside. It surely couldn't have been Walsh. It must have been on the far side. In which case, at what point was the player interfering with play? Well, the free kick, I don't know whether it's been taken and from where, and I honestly don't believe that the 2 officials between them knew which man was offside. It's not as a team. quite unnecessary stoppage of play. Fernandez. And again, Bologna thought about going, decided to stay. Gires, Platini, just forward to the right. Roberts. We've seen quite a lot of Platini appearing on the right side of the field. Duxbury. Under 5 minutes of the first half remaining. Still no score. Lee. Roberts. Williams has found some space forward, but hasn't as yet been seen. To the left of Sansom now. Brian Robson making a long run. Platini trying to exploit the space, but Robson is already back covering. Sansom. Williams. Walsh. Robson. Sanson unmarked out to the left, number 3. Walsh makes a run to the left, takes Tigana out. Creates some space for Steen. Shout from Williams. Sansom offering to the left. Lee to the right. Robson. It's all a bit tight. Well worked. Nicely done. On to Steen, and still. And England get a corner from it. And some good play involving Hoddle and Robson in particular. And there were all sorts of possibilities on for England then. Steen in the end, beaten a little bit by the bounce. The ball came off the nose of Bossis, I think. It's not the sort of nose that's that easy to miss, to be truthful. Headed away for another corner by Touré. Roberts on the edge of the 6-yard area, Butcher behind him. And Butcher got half a flick. Indecision between two players. Walsh, Sanson has another dig. Butcher, that's well done. Hoddle took the short side rather than finding room round the back. Hoddle, and again from Sanson. Bit of an England encampment, but they need to be careful. Duxbury did well. Tripped by Fernandez. Play by Mike Duxbury. Held the ball very well in the challenge. The knee was over the ball, as the textbooks would tell you. Minute and a half. That's a little bit of time for stoppages to be added. And here's Butcher. If I judge the referee's movements right, there was a bit of pushing there. Butcher who got clear, certainly it wasn't he who pushed. Jolbat has not had to be as alert as Peter Shilton. Into the last minute of the first period. Williams. Predictable whistles. Roberts. D. Robson said yesterday he pressurizes the ball. It seemed to me to be a very apt description. Here's Hoddle from Williams. And with Tigana in possession, the referee brings the first period to an end. A little bit early on our watches, but his is the one which counts. The score is 0-0. And England has a scoring record for Juventus to 17 goals this season. 2 fine goals at the weekend. making him joint top scorer there with the Brazilian Zico, and has one less than last year. First French attack of the half broken up. It's Tigana. Gires waiting in the middle. And a corner, which he may well go across to take. In fact, he leaves it to Boulogne. It should produce the in-swinger. Leroux trying to get his way through. Touré got up well without making any contact with the ball. Boulogne. That made his debut for the 1982 World Cup in Dublin against the Republic of Ireland, but wasn't much of a factor during the World Cup, just played in the third place match. Not too much movement for the French from the throw. Battiston, whose chance early in the first half was the clearest of the match. Tigana, England pushing forward. And England playing their 16th match during the reign of Bobby Robson. 8 victories, 5 draws and 2 defeats. And both those defeats at Wembley. We've lost the ball down in the moat, we've got it back now. Both those defeats at Wembley by West Germany, and of course the crucial one by Denmark, which ended our chances in the European Championship. Nobody moving for the quickly placed ball by Platini. Duxbury. Sansom. Steen. Challenged by Fernandez. Steen a little disappointed. I'm sure the players are entirely sure what's happened. It's Battiston. Eventually will take the free kick. Rossi leaves him to it. Touré, the furthest forward, and a bit of jumping on him, says the referee from Belgium, by Butcher. Confirmation of the score, or lack of it. Gires. Robson. Duxbury. Lee forward on this near touchline. Butcher. Sanson forward on the far touchline. Roberts. Not too progressive as yet. Hoddle trying to lose his marker is Tigana. Well won by Williams. Even he's staying down for so long, almost got a good tackle in from that position. It's an England ball. It's Paul Walsh. Tigana quickly goal side of him. Steen waiting in the middle alongside Lee. Tigana comes away with it. Gires. Beautifully away from Butcher. A lot for Touré to do. Robson and Duxbury, the Manchester United pair, together. Butcher. England have never been able in the match, I think, to inject the pace that we've seen from 2 or 3 French attacks. It's a sudden change of gear, which we haven't really produced, except perhaps on one occasion right at the end of the first half. 5 minutes of the second half gone. Hoddle. Sansom. Walsh. Battiston. Bossis. A rather untidy start to the second half. Maxime Bossis, who was the man unlucky enough to miss the penalty in the penalty competition won by the West Germans. Lucky the referee, I think, was the only person in the ground at Seville who didn't notice that the goalkeeper was practically standing on the 6-yard line when he made the save. Here's Sammy Lee, almost went back to Francis. Steen. Robson. Williams. Walsh. Ball was out of play before Platini played it. Hoddle. Lee is pulled wide to the right. That's an interesting ball to Sansom. Steen didn't make contact at all. Walsh made a better one, but not enough to test Jules Batz, who would have been under severe pressure if Brian Steen, who rose all right, but mistimed it. Final shot coming from Walsh. Goalkeeper able to get the hold of the body behind it. And Roberts just fails to present us with the ball. Manuel Amoros of Monaco. French do not seem to use a long throw ever. Free kick given against Lee. Lawrence cross. Williams is 2/3 clearance. That's a better one. Steen, that was a better timing jump. What a pity he couldn't have produced that sort of timing on the 6-yard line a few seconds ago. Fernandez. Bit of arrogance on the ball. And it costs him in the end until the free kick is given. The challenge on Amoros. Amoros, the youngest player in the French side. 22 on the 1st of this month. Touré. Platini and Boulogne, the furthest forward. No foul, says the referee. Butcher for England. Hoddle. He finds Tigana, comes quickly to him. Platini. Bossis. A lot of free kicks for niggling sort of fouls. Fouls on players who didn't really seem to be positive in their intentions to get away. Touré, that's lovely play by him. Platini, oh, I say! Well, for a man of his quality, he deserves the reprimand for that. And they cannot believe it. For some extraordinary reason, the man with the greatest touch, it's Touré who makes the break. Beautifully away from Roberts. Shilton comes towards him. Didn't really get the chip, and it was a good palm. But Platini, all he needs is a touch. And why on earth did he want to thump it? Two men on the line, admittedly. But Platini perfectly capable of placing the ball usually where he wants it to go. And that time, it was the blaze of inexperience.
Amazing miss from Platini there, but what great goalkeeping again. Peter Shilton not only presented a barrier, he just, well, it was a barrier at the end, but he just waited his time and up went the left-hander. Superb save. Good defending too to get those two men back. A lot more movement from England, by the way. Hoddle's moving around a lot more. The only one who's staying fairly rigidly is Sammy Lee here, very wide on the right.
He's looking for Robson. Walsh hadn't gone forward as well as he might. 10 minutes of the second half gone. And another fine Shilton save to be put in the record book of the match. Duxbury. Walsh. And Lee with a chance to cross it. Plenty of England players forward. It's a corner. Hoddle coming across. Once again, Roberts and Butcher on the near post. In fact, it's taken quickly to Hoddle. Steen, offside flag was looked for, but Robson was certainly not offside. They all looked at the linesman on this side, who did for a second suggest he was going to raise his flag. But there's a man here on the line, so there could be no question. Just didn't manage to get hold of it. It came off the outside of the left boot. Bossis. Platini. That's a fine long ball to Battiston. Tigana forward. Not a good cross by Battiston. Sansom. And Bobby Robson had to admit with a certain reluctance that the way England played in this match was arguably more important than the final result. Although he left any listener in no doubt that he wanted to win as well. Roberts. Hoddle's presence forward seems to be pushing Fernandez further back. Williams forward too. Good play by Bossis. Battiston. Touré, Gires. This ball would find Boulogne, and Platini further forward. Oh, it's a lovely goal. They had two men over then, the French. So there have to be questions asked about that. The European Footballer of the Year atones for his earlier error. Gires' cross. England with 5 men, 6 men pulled on that side. The French, as we'll now see, have 2 over. Platini got away from his marker. It was a lovely curling ball. And with 13 minutes of the second half gone, the French have the lead. Platini's 25th goal for his country puts him 2 short of the record held by Just Fontaine. Walsh for England. Sansom. Steen. Good control by Boulogne, who was the other Frenchman over. And the referee doesn't like the challenge by Duxbury. And Boulogne stays down after apparently getting a knock on the head. Will the Belgian officials discuss the matter? They do, as we look at the injured party. It's just the free kick.
I'm not quite sure it demands that dramatic style. I don't know whether we get a replay of that. It was quite interesting. Just going back on the goal there, Platini really made up for his miss with a quite superb execution. And I think once we get a chance to see replays again of that, you'll see that he drifted in. I think he pulled Mike Duxbury with him. And Mike Duxbury read that, and then Platini just checked back that fraction. Mike Duxbury had no chance of return. The ball certainly travelled over the head of Graham Roberts first, but the actual finish of it was superb. Peter Shilton's already performed wonders. But they are a very fitful side, aren't they, the French? I suppose we've always come to expect that. They need the crowd to raise them. They need that little bit of action, that little bit of joy. And they've certainly, on chances, deserved the goal.
Roberts. And we've had an hour of the match. And it has to be said that when they've been in contest, Tigana has done a good job on Glenn Hoddle. Williams caught forward by the charge of Battiston. Sansom. Butcher. Williams. Steen the furthest forward for England. Staked by Roberts. Well, won by Williams. Hoddle. Walsh letting it run. And by doing so, allowing the spare defender, Bossis, to come across. Duxbury. Fernandez. And the free kick against Walsh for a bit of pushing. And the referee decides that that is a challenge deserving of a yellow card. Amaros with the kick. Butcher. Williams. Straight to Platini. Williams, who's had the demand placed on him to adapt to a left-sided role, and the absence of people like Gordon Carnes and the lack of form of Graham Ricks. Until last Saturday, it could be said. Here's Tigana. Battiston goes ahead, pulls out. Duxbury had to adjust his feet a bit. Amoros. Fernandez. Butcher. Nice control and good battling when he seemed to have lost it. Hoddle seeing more of the ball in this second period, there can be no doubt about that. Here's Lee. Duxbury. Walsh just inside. Lee behind if needed again, but not there. Free kick against Brian Robson, about which he has a few words. Duxbury. Lee. Steen. Graham Roberts is coming forward. And Butcher moving into the area. Butcher got a good back header. Hoddle didn't hit it completely clean, but I think that's the first back header that we've seen from Butcher. And it created at least half a chance. Joel Batts waving them away. French with three delightfully named goalkeepers. They've anglicised his name to Batts. The other two are Rust and Dropsy. They're playing in the French league. Roberts. Lee on the right side. Consistently hugged this touchline. Hasn't though found the variation that we see from him at Liverpool. Quickly in by Robson. This is a chance for Steen. Good challenge from the wrong side by Amoros. He makes it quite clear. He had no thought of giving a penalty. Roberts. It's curious that although England have gone behind in this half, they've played better during it than in the first period. Sansom. Away by Bossis. The French left three forward then. Sansom. Steen. Sansom. Loses out to Leroux. Good challenge by Roberts, but it's still on for the French, who are breaking out in numbers. Pass to Amoros from Bossis, giving them a chance to get numbers back themselves. Williams. Sansom. Hoddle. Sansom seemingly took his eye off the ball for a minute. Here's Platini. Belloni to the left. Touré to the right. Robson for England. Lee. Steen. Duxbury. Lee. Checking in his more accustomed Liverpool position. Walsh. And still. Good save. The referee has given a free kick against Robson for what was surely a ball that could be played. Walsh challenged by Leroux. No free kick given, although he was caught. Maybe thought to be a genuine challenge for the ball, but isn't that one as well? Duxbury. Walsh. Bossis. Good play by Walsh again. Hoddle tried to curl it, couldn't find enough. But a couple of times Paul Walsh has come close to setting up something for England. Obviously looking for the curl here on the left foot. It had the goalkeeper out of the play, but it missed the far post. Brian Steen, who chased it in. Bobby Robson, the England manager, entitled to be pleased with the way that England have shown their form in spite of going a goal behind to this man, Platini. And here he is again, and Duxbury once more the only man. Lee on the touchline. Walsh. Hoddle ahead of the ball, wants to be played early. Here he is. Pity. It's good to see Hoddle going ahead of the ball. I know a lot of people feel that he should look for that sort of opportunity more often, and certainly in this role that Bobby Robson has given him, that sort of opportunity is bound to come.
I think England deserved to be level. I think there was a great chance for Steen. I think he just froze, really, set up by Walsh. And Robson, Brian Robson, absolutely superb. He's driving England forward, much more fluidity about them.
But once more they've got a man over. This is Touré, and once more the goalkeeping is tremendous. The full-back work wasn't bad either, but the referee says he used his hands outside the area. I'm getting enough nods around to make me believe that the referee was right. It was a clear break again. Ground that Butcher is eating up. Shilton timing it superbly. The ball got away from him. Yes, there he touched it, no question. And the first chance of the match from a free kick for Platini. England were practicing defending against such possibilities yesterday. Touré has gone to the right, Fernandez to the left. An England wall of 6 players. Platini takes, oh, I say, that's magnificent! 2-0 to France, 2 goals to Platini. Smile of a charmer. Shilton starts moving away to his left, and he finds the gap between the edge of the wall and Shilton's weight. He tries to recover, gets a hand, but it finds the corner.
Peter Shilton got scared there. He got scared from seeing Platini score so many over the wall, and it's very rarely you see the Southampton keeper get caught out. Platini, of course, the European Footballer of the Year. He was shaping to put it to the top corner. Peter started to go left. There was no road back once he'd pulled it with such power.
And the French, thinking in terms of a substitution, it's Battiston who seems to have got a knock, and Tussaud who will come on to replace him. Tussaud from Bordeaux. As we look again at the free kick, no doubt that Shilton was thinking he was going to chip it over the top of the wall. And Platini had other ideas. Butcher. 2 moments in the match from Platini, well, 3 really. One which was unbelievable when he missed. A lovely goal when he pulled away from his man when the French actually had 2 men over, with only Duxbury with any chance of recovery. And then a special from his first free kick that he's had in the match. And the free kick coming as a result of Peter Shilton handling the ball outside the area. So, who was injured before the World Cup, this is his 10th cap. And took no part in it, was not in the squad. Sansom. Leroux. Tigana. Bellone. They're forward in numbers again. Touré. Didn't make it count. Obstruction by Tussaud. Tussaud is 26, so certainly an experienced player. Brian Robson. Tonight, cap number 30. Sansom. Gires. Tigana. .15 minutes left. France 2, England 0. Amoros has moved to right back in place of Battiston, with Tussaud coming into the left back position. England picked themselves up well from the first goal, and they do so again from the second. Certainly came at an unfortunate time, to put it mildly. Free kick has been given. And down on the touchline, as we look at the injured Gires, down on the touchline in front of me, John Barnes of Watford and Tony Woodcock of Arsenal are both warming up. Bobby Robson thinking in terms of making a change in his front line.
I think it's worth a change. The game's dead, really. I don't think there's any way back for England now. So there's John Barnes, who I'd hoped would have, in fact, got a game tonight. Obviously, Bobby Robson went for the 2 Luton lads, and I think there's promise there, certainly from Paul Walsh. But John Barnes has been in some very fine form for Watford, and he deserves his chance.
Zamorous for France. Williams. Gires. Butcher. Williams. Walsh. Sure, Williams would like to have come forward more like this, but his role was a little restricted. It's a good challenge by Bossis. As to whether he might have been able to cause more variety or create more variety on his more natural side. Tussaud. Gires. Platini moving forward and looking for the hat-trick. Hoddle. 2 England substitutes now ready to come on. Here's Walsh. Getting numbers into the middle. One is Hoddle, the other is Steen. Lee was there as well. And I think that will bring the substitution if the referee turns round and sees the linesman's flag aloft. Robson. Just seen the numbers held up by Fred Street. The 2 players to come off are not the front 2. Just one of them, Steen, and the other one is Sammy Lee, who has not had one of his better games for England. In his 11th cap tonight, such a terrier. He's been a little unable to add to those qualities on this right side this evening. Woodcock, who was very disappointed at being left out initially. Off comes Sammy Lee. The sort of player that you always want around in your squad. Real 110%er. Steen comes off as well. And Woodcock and Barnes. And Steen takes his place on the bench. Have 11 minutes to prove what they can do, and I think, as Bob Wilson suggested, it is simply a question of that. Bobby Robson looking for reaction to disappointment at the timing, particularly of the second goal. Manager on his feet down in front of me as I speak, and also now with an opportunity of, at least for a very brief period, trying a different permutation up front. So Walsh has taken a position behind those 2. Here's Hoddle. Woodcock calling for the diagonal ball. And it was Barnes who came in behind. And between the 2 was Amorous, and England had the corner. Hoddle to take. And there is now a greater height in the air in the box with the arrival of Woodcock and Barnes. Butcher on the near post, just behind him, or away from the near post, just behind him is Roberts. Gires. Duxbury. Flag actually didn't go up. The linesman was right there to see the ball go out. Williams. Barnes. Woodcock left side, 4 players the other way. Huddle trying to put it through. Williams. England suddenly pushing a lot of players forward. Robson. Walsh. Woodcock calling for it, didn't get it. Tigana. Gires. Robson. Hasn't made too many errors, and he got back quickly to cover that one. Williams. Butcher. Barnes starting from the left side. He's been playing more down the middle for Watford in the last couple of matches and scored 2 goals on Saturday and 2 goals in midweek against West Ham. Free kick given against him. Maxime Bossis. Trousseau. Pushing right up into the centre circle. The furthest forward, watched by Roberts. Butcher. Sansom. Barnes. Fernandez. So pushing forward on the left. Platini. Offside given against Fernandez. No question that Michel Hidalgo, the French manager, will keep himself ahead in his record. Before tonight's match, he'd won exactly half the number of games that France had played under his charge, 32 out of 64. 7 minutes left of this one, and France have a 2-0 lead. With a chance to conjure something. Butcher's up in the line on the far side. Woodcock poised to go forward on the nearer side. Oh dear, oh dear. Free kick given for the challenge on Butts, who I would suggest was rather conscious of the 2 coming in, which may not augur too well for the French in the European Championship. And with a slight delay, substitution, we're going to see Dominique Rocheteau. That's a popular decision. Replaces Bellone. Dominique Rocheteau, who now plays for Paris Saint-Germain. Important factor in the World Cup. Well, I still just have a chance to suggest to Bob Wilson that the presence of a player called Bats in goal does prove the theories about goalkeepers, Bob.
Well, it should stand him in good stead, Barry. All goalkeepers are crazy. Why not have a name like Bats?
Rocheteau's taken his place in the front line. Bats, who conceded 3 goals in his first match in Copenhagen, kept his place since. Butcher. Down to 5 minutes, but there must be a bit of time to be added on for the long time that substitution took. Away by Leroux. One of the Frenchmen to come in since the World Cup. And the French seem to have picked up the habit of a country not too far away of making a lot of the injuries. Meantime, you may have just been able to hear strains of God Save the Queen being sung by the England supporters. And it should be said that the presence of the French police has brought to a swift end any suggestion of trouble in the crowd. And we understand there was no trouble also outside the stadium before the match. They rather showed what they were prepared to do by bouncing one or two problem boys quite unceremoniously down the steps and on into the tunnel. And that seemed to have the desired effect. Bossis. French prepared to let the game die. I think at last got their victory. Roberts underneath it with Touré. It's often found a bit difficult in the air. Williams. Huddle. Duxbury ahead. Walsh making a run. Woodcock has made a lot of runs since he came on without actually seeing too much of the ball. Huddle. Gigana. Gires. Touré. Rocheteau. Cheer from the crowd dies in the throat. The linesman signals offside. Very popular player. Tigana. Change of pace, but asked a bit that of Rocheteau. Starting from the left-back position, the left-back starting from the left-half position. It's Walsh and the outside left, and we've got very old-fashioned. Here's Williams. Space for Duxbury, that's well found. But nobody coming short for support, maybe Duxbury doesn't need it. And he pulled the ball into the right position without actually looking. And I suppose while the mistake was clearly his, he might wonder why everybody got sucked into the 6-yard box. Huddle to take. Butcher. Gires with some nonchalance. Rocheteau with a little bit of pace. And look at Tussaud going forward. And now Bossis. The best run could well be from Platini, who's gone right to left. Gires filled the gap on the right. French pushing it around. It's Fernandez. Here's Rocheteau. Challenge from a surprising side from his point of view. The Frenchman came from Robson. 2 minutes left. Today, did I say the French were prepared to let the game to die? Platini. So we wanted to be too precise. Couldn't manage to sway Butcher out of the way. Huddle. Woodcock again, willing forward, and the run created a bit of space for Walsh. And here's Woodcock. Walsh once again, Sanson to the right, Huddle screaming for it behind. Walsh at times has wanted to hang on, as Bob Wilson said fairly early in the match. Touré. Little Gires. Still the little 5'5" Frenchman into the last minute. And the French turning it on for the crowd in their capital, in their national stadium. Rocheteau. Platini. No doubt that the French want a third goal. Rocheteau. The crowd, I mean. Lamoureux. But the Blues want to walk it in, and they will have no further chance. as the Belgian brings the game to an end, although Amorous and John Barnes clearly haven't heard. And the linesman a little bit cross, and it ends nicely with a handshake between the two. 2-0 to France the score. Both goals by Michel Platini. Last thought from Bob Wilson.
Well, just to say that the French will take some stopping in the European Championship.